You know, we're about to crack a case that's hidden in plain sight. It's a little grammar mystery you probably solve every single day without even thinking about it. And it seems simple, but trust me, the solution reveals something really fascinating about how the English language actually works.
So let's get right to it. Why do we say people are friendly? I mean, it just sounds right, doesn't it? But if you think about it, people feels like one single group, kind of like a team or a crowd. So logically, shouldn't it be people is friendly? But no, our brains instinctively go for are. What's going on there? What's the secret rule we all just know? Well, let's put on our detective hats and figure this out.
Okay, so every good investigation has to start with the main suspect. And in our case, that's the word people itself. To really understand why it behaves the way it does, we've got to dig into its past, its origin story. Where did this word even come from?
And the story starts right here with this simple singular noun, person. Just one individual. No mystery yet, right? We say one person is walking down the street. Totally straightforward. But the plot thickens as soon as you have more than one.
And boom, here's our first major clue. People isn't just some random word we use for a group. It is the official, irregular plural of person. It's just like how child becomes children and mouse becomes mice. Person becomes people. It's one of those amazing quirks left over from the long, tangled, and frankly weird history of the English language.
So there you have it, our first big aha moment. The reason we say people are is because the word people is already plural by its very definition. It's not a singular thing, it is the plural of person. So case closed? Well, not quite. The story actually gets even cooler.
Okay, so people is a plural noun. We've established that. But wait, there's another layer here, because it also belongs to this really special category of words called collective nouns. And this group, it adds a whole new, fascinating twist to our investigation.
So what is a collective noun? It's basically a singular word that stands for a whole bunch of individuals. Think about it. A team, a family, a committee. On the surface, they're singular words, right? You have one team. But what happens when we start thinking about all the different people inside that team?
This is where things get really flexible and honestly kind of wonderful, especially in British English. You have all these seemingly singular words, team, family, government, that can suddenly take plural verbs. You'll totally hear people say things like, the staff are on strike, or the family have decided to move. So what's going on?
The secret is all about perspective. It's about whether you see the whole forest or the individual trees. If you're talking about the group as one single unit, you use a singular verb. But the moment you start focusing on the individuals inside that group with all their own thoughts and feelings and actions, you switch to the plural. The grammar literally shifts to match what you mean. Just look at this example. It's perfect. On the left, the committee is this single faceless thing. It is elected. But on the right, the committee is a group of actual people with goals. They are hoping. The only thing that changed was the context, and the grammar changed right along with it. How cool is that?
Okay, so now that we've kind of demystified people, let's take a quick look at some of its quirky grammatical cousins, because English is just full of these oddballs, and honestly, they're what make the language so rich. And yeah, sometimes a little confusing.
Now get this, some words don't even have a singular version. It's like they just popped into existence as a plural, and that's how they're going to stay. You can't have just one of them, you can only have a pair or a set.
I mean, really think about it. Have you ever asked someone to hand you a scissor? Or complained that your trouser is too long? No way, it sounds completely wrong. These words, which are usually for things with two parts that work together, are just born plural, and they demand a plural verb.
Here's a super simple test. You would never ever say your jean is too tight. It just sounds weird, right? That's your brain's internal grammar checker telling you that jeans is and will always be a plural idea.
All right, you ready for the final level of this grammar game? Let's talk about the real shapeshifters of the English language. These are the words that can swing both ways. They can act as singular or plural, all depending on how you use them.
Data is such a classic example. So technically, it's the plural of the Latin word datum. So for a long time, grammar purists would insist these data are correct. But over time, we've all started treating it as this one big uncountable thing. So now this data is correct is completely normal. And you know what? It's also correct. It just goes to show you that how we use language is what really shapes it.
So after all this detective work, you might be asking, why does any of this really matter? Is this just about passing an English test? Absolutely not. There's a much, much bigger picture here.
You see, this stuff isn't just about being correct for the sake of it. It's about being clear and precise. That choice between the committee is and the committee are, that's not just a tiny detail. It lets you communicate exactly what you mean. Are we talking about a single entity, or are we talking about the actual living people who make it up? That small grammatical choice can make a huge difference in meaning.
And really, this whole mystery teaches us something so important. Grammar isn't some set of dusty, ancient laws carved in stone. It's a living system. It's breathing, and it's constantly evolving right along with us. The story of a word like data is the perfect proof that what might be called a mistake in one generation can become the absolute standard in the next. The language adapts to us.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating final thought. We've solved the mystery of people are, sure, but in doing so, we've stumbled upon a much bigger idea. As our language keeps changing, which of the grammar rules we follow so strictly today are going to become the funny little quirks of tomorrow? What's the next data? Or the next people? Now that is a puzzle worth thinking about.